Okay, folks, the street Jew pulling the Band-Aid off of the webcam and going live in 2016, which is also 5776 in the month of Tevet. Now, I've been reluctant to start doing videos again because, on these internet portals, whoever, some man behind the screen can just, flip a switch and there goes all the videos, all the time, energy, effort. But, that being said, a few of us got to hit the barbed wire, and I'm man enough to do it. I understand what's going on, and I refuse to capitulate to this system. So, I want to give shout outs to people that have inspired me to get started. Matt Drudge on the internet with the, Drudge Report and his alternative media sauce that gets pushes stories through. He gets stories out that the mainstream media doesn't want to touch, that get hidden on a local channel, and he's able to elevate them. And then as far as video goes, Alex Jones, what can I say? Although a lot of people, will hammer Alex, and there is a big percentage, not a huge percentage, but a decent percentage of people that are following him that either think he's part of like some kind of Jewish conspiracy, or they're just Jew haters, posting on his videos negative stuff about the Jewish people. And I'm street Jew, so I'm going to give this video a little background and a little introduction to get the channel kicked off, and at least let anyone who wants to understand where I come from, where I am coming from. I grew up in New York. I was born in Brooklyn. I was raised in a pretty secular family, although I did have a bar mitzvah. I went to a pretty pathetic Hebrew school, that just, didn't teach us much. I mean, I can't speak Hebrew. I've been living in Israel 5 years. I'll get to that in a minute, but, I just still don't even speak Hebrew. Now I'm here. I went to public schools my whole life, PS school, IS, and, high school, HS. New York City public school system, which I don't think was as dumbed down and as pathetic as it is now. And you can, and I'll touch bases probably in another video, but you can go into the deliberate dumbing down of America with Charlotte Iserby and learn a little bit about what's happening in the public school systems and things like that with her research and books. Then I went to college. I went to New York University, 4-year degree, electrical engineering, low voltage, kind of in the music space. I was a musician. I'm still a musician. I mean, I don't really play much now, but back then I was, practicing 2-3 hours a day, playing with bands, playing out in clubs, and, living the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle. And I just really didn't see a future in that, but being in New York and all my friends were secular, and, and I had a circle of friends, that liked to party and it was all about music and stuff. And when some of us thought we would, be rock stars and whatnot. And so we lived that way. And then I had a cousin who invited me down to Florida after Hurricane Andrew hit. Now, that was in 1992. And I was already graduated from college. And moved down there and basically found God in Miami because things really didn't pan out so well with my cousin. And then I kind of connected to the Jewish community down there. He actually did help me connect to the Kabbalah Center, which was my first, delving into somewhat of Orthodox Judaism. The center does, have Orthodox services, although they do teach even non-Jews, and a lot of people have a big problem with that, but they did get me onto a path, and then that path led to Chabad, and I was with there's a huge, a huge amount of Chabad facilities in South Florida, and they were not like Mashiachist type people thinking that the Rebbe, is going to come back from his grave. At least they didn't say that outright, because I would have rejected that. And so after that situation, I came to, and the economy collapsed in Florida. I was in the construction business with my cousin after Hurricane Andrew. I got 2 construction licenses, general contracting and a roofing contractor. But I don't know, I just, something was just not right. Like, I work really hard. I mean, really hard. I don't want to give you references here of who you can contact and call, but, you can take my word for it. 68 hours a week. I was young then, and, had a ton of energy. And just wanted to make money, the American dream, be a fat cat with a yacht and a Learjet and all that type of stuff, castle, on the hill. And when I noticed that every time I was working and things weren't panning out, so, I kind of, that was stuck in my mind. And then actually 9/11 hit, and being a contractor and watching those buildings collapse, it put really some serious questions into my head. And I'll get to that probably down the road in some other videos. But that being said, then the economy collapsed in Florida, and I ended up going at the tail end of 2006 to Israel. I came here for 8 months and worked in the gold, selling gold, and the market was, moving. I also was a commodity broker, a license I got as I was building the construction companies. I was always interested in commodities and Wall Street, but my parents would not let me on Wall Street. So when I got to Florida, that was another avenue of income that I was looking into and trying to generate. So after 9/11, the gold market was moving about 20% a year. Started at $250 back then, and then, it's a $50 move up to $300, 20% from there to $360, and, keep adding 20%, and the market was rocketing. By the time I got to Israel, it was about $580, $600 an ounce, and I was telling people from the research that I had done that it was going to go higher. I thought it would hit 1,000, but I could only get research that was saying 750, 800, 850. But even from 600 in a leveraged commodity contract, 600 to 800, it's huge money. So I was working a business with that, and the 8 months I was here, the owner of that business had issues. So the business didn't continue, and I had to move back. I moved actually to Europe for a little while. For the tail end of that 2007 year, I moved to Europe, and then in 2008 back to Florida. And but I did hook up while I was here in Israel during that trip with the Kahana people. First it was Nachman Kahana in the old city in Jerusalem, and of course he's in the same direction that his brother Meir. Meir, may his blood be avenged, was murdered in 1990 in America. I never met him personally, but I got connected through his brother to to the Kahana people, the followers, the lieutenants of the organization, and from there I started on the path of the Jewish idea. It was really the story. True Judaism, no holes barred, no sugarcoating, no establishment, trying to make all the people around the world that are not Jewish happy. Just being a proud Jew, and it really led me on the path that I was always looking for. I had seen desecrations of temples and cemeteries. When I was in New York, I had heard of the JDL, but it had already disbanded by then. By the time I had gotten involved with it, as the rabbi had moved to Israel in 1971, and the organization kind of started a decline, and we're talking over 20 years later, for 71 to 2006, 2007, talking 25 years later. So but I did start getting his books, and they're over on this shelf. I can show you. I have a bunch of books there. The shelf with the white. I don't know if you can see it, so it'd be hard to point to it, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth shelf down, really at the bottom of the camera there. It's all Rabbi Kahana's books there, which I've read. And so I'm going to start, talking about not only Jewish stuff, but if you understand, I'm listening to Alex Jones, also New World Order stuff. most people don't study the New World Order and Judaism. I happen to study both, and that's where this channel is going to take us. So take care.